Hi, Haley. Welcome to Lunch with LeAnn.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, May 13th, and we are on our second Lunch with LeAnn date. And my date today is Haley Westonsko. She is our HR administrator at LINC. We are very excited that she's here. If you missed last week's, it is just go down to our videos. We talked with the Ada County Elections Office and talked about absentee ballots. So today with Haley, who's the most wonderful HR administrator on the planet, as well as just an all-around amazing human, we are going to explore some topics around well-being and self-care. But first, we got to talk about what we're having for lunch, because it's Lunch with LeAnn. So Haley, what'd you bring for lunch today?
I brought tomato basil soup, Progresso. It's quite delicious. And my kid's favorite to go in it, goldfish crackers. So I am sporting the elementary lunch today. I'm very excited about it. Yeah. What about you? What do you have?
Well, what I am having, sorry, got distracted. It happens a lot for me these days. I am having spaghetti squash and this creamy chicken like Instapot sauce that's delicious. But the spaghetti squash makes it. I love spaghetti squash. And then I've made myself another salad with some kale and some tomatoes. And my dressing, because I really just have salad so I can eat yummy dressing, is this Trader Joe's Green Goddess salad dressing. And they've been out of stock for a really long time, so I was able to get it. And it has avocado, green onions, cold pressed lemons, chives, basil, and garlic. And sometimes I can't have this when we're at the office because it gives me a lot of garlic breath. So a perk from a home office, get to have all the garlic I want.
Excellent. So, I'm jealous of your lunch. It looks much better than my elementary lunch.
No, I don't know. I like tomato basil soup, and the Progresso is actually my favorite. So I think you scored. So Haley, we have a couple of viewers. So hi, viewers. We're going to talk a little bit about self-care today. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That elusive thing that we always hear about. You know, it's one of those things that's always really important. Now more than ever, because, you know, if you guys are like me, I'm a mom, I have school-age kids, so I'm working from home. I have 2 kids at home, my husband's at home, my dogs, my cat. So it can get stressful really fast and have that time. And self-care can be overwhelming sometimes to some folks, but it doesn't have to be anything big. Something that everyone can achieve with self-care is making sure you're drinking your water. It's so important for your body, for your skin, for your frame of mind. You know, it's just really important to make sure. I know that I am terrible at drinking water at home, but when I'm at the office, I never have a problem reaching my water goal. So always make sure that you're drinking that water, taking the 10 minutes away. Something that I love to do every day is I go to the mailbox and I get the mail. It sounds silly, but it is my 5 minutes of freedom where I can just walk outside and get the sun, you know, or walk around my cul-de-sac, wave to the neighbors through their screen doors. It's, you know, some of those things that are really, really important that we do. What do you do, LeAnn?
Oh, yeah, so I will be the first on this little Lunch with LeAnn to confess I have not been very good at my self-care. So my self-care at the office used to look like I was, and some of you are just going to think it's crazy, but I would get up at 4:30 on Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays in the morning, and I would go to the gym. And I would work out, and I would feel energized, and I was energized throughout the day. Well, when we went into this, we lost. Obviously, gyms closed. That didn't work out. But my gym, like I'm sure a lot of you have seen, had these great online workouts you could do. And they did them at 5 a.m. too. And I just couldn't get myself to get up that time. I was tired. I was exhausted. So I haven't really been working out. But what I did decide to do was to go back to things that I enjoyed, because working out is hard for me. I enjoy it, but it's hard. So then you put a pandemic in front of working out and it's even harder. But, you know, that activity is really important. So I have found that I'm going on walks now. I really like to run. So I've been doing a little bit of that. but I've really just allowed myself just to be active to where I'm comfortable. I'm not pushing myself very much, but I am trying to consciously get out. The other thing that I'm doing, and I just love people, and this is really hard for those of us who are people who want to be around people. And for some reason, people stopped answering my Zoom requests, so nobody wanted to be on Zoom with me anymore. And so I did with Leadership Boise in the Chamber, we did this kindness bomb day, and it was where we all went out and did nice things for people. And it made me feel so good. I didn't have contact with anyone. I left things at doorsteps, but it made me feel so good that I've carried that through, even with some of the LINC team. I'm just trying to surprise people and pop by people's office or houses, which is also their offices. So I'm trying to do that with neighbors and with family members, just to give everybody that little bit of happiness, but that in turn is giving me happiness. So that's what I do for my self-care. And I'm glad you said the water, because all I've been drinking is a lot of coffee. So there's water in that, but I'm gonna note that, Haley, for my water.
Yeah, and another thing that has been huge, some people aren't Zoom fans. I know iPhone users, there's FaceTime. That's always a really good thing, especially for checking in on those family members or friends that are maybe single. So they're at home and they don't have that interaction of kids or spouse or anything like that. Google has an option, it's called Google Duo. I do that with my family, usually a couple times a week, just to check in. Because my family all works in the hospital, so I can't even do my social distancing with them. So we do a lot of the video chats, and that's, it's really important. There's some really great resources out there. One that I found really helpful is called verywellmind.com.
Write that down.
Yeah, it has wonderful resources, and they are, as easy as taking that 5 minutes to do a 5-minute meditation in the morning or in the middle of the day, to giving you those workouts or those other resources, books, that kind of thing. And another helpful one is psychologytoday.com. They had a lot of really helpful pointers and articles that you could read for that too. I know at LINC, we have really kind of pushed the wellbeing book. It's an awesome resource. I have talked to several staff members that are rereading that to kind of get that information out. So that's something that is really, really helpful too. And as we have talked about on other calls and other podcasts, and we put that out there, LINC is doing peer-to-peer groups. So there are 3 separate groups. There's one that is PA focused. There's one that is employer focused for our PASS program. And then we do have just a peer-to-peer contact for independent living. Those are done every single week. We post those links on Facebook. Anyone can join into those. And that's a great way to connect with people, to not feel so isolated.
Yeah, that is awesome. I am frantically also adding those links for you guys that Haley talked about to the chat or to the comments there, so that you can go back and look at the Psychology Today and the verywellmind.com. And I'll put a link to the Wellbeing book as well. That is a Gallup book. And they talk about the 5 elements of well-being in that book, right? So we have community, social, career, physical, and Financial. Thank you. I always forget that one. Maybe it's because I struggle with my financial well-being from time to time. But those 5 areas of well-being can really help us. And so we may be struggling in any number of those right now. With financial, you may be out of a job, or you may have gotten cut hours, or it's just a stressor every day. Community looks a lot different. Social looks a lot different. So it's important to kind of look through and see how we can do those. Even my physical looks different. I'm definitely just not pushing my body as hard, because the stress is pushing us hard too. Haley, this just in too. I posted on my personal Facebook, but I'll have Kelly posted on our Facebook too. But if anybody who uses like a smartphone or an a mobile device, I saw that Kleenex is partnering with the Calm app, and they're giving away 3 months of there's like 100,000 memberships they're giving away or something, but it's 3 months of the Calm app for free. And all you have to do is download it, and then you create an account, but you don't have to put a credit card in. You don't have to like sign up for anything. It's just once you sign up, you get 3 months of the Calm app. So I used that last night, and Matthew McConaughey talked to me while I went to sleep. And then this morning I woke up to a babbling brook for a little bit of just quiet time before I launched into my day of lots of Zoom meetings and interactions. So it's kind of a cool thing. And I think those websites that you sent out, and I'll put the Kleenex one in there too, there's lots of resources. There's no right or wrong way really to do well-being. What works for me is different than works for Haley. It's different than works for you out there. So encourage you just to explore those. And Haley, if they have questions about anything like this, can they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way is it's just HR, as in human resources, at linkidaho.org. So it's all spelled out, all lowercase. I'm happy to answer any questions, give any tools. Another great resource that I forgot to mention earlier is if you have access to an EAP, Employee Assistance Program, through your employer or through your insurance provider, they are a great resource. They have done, and they are most famous for their counseling. They've gone to teleappointments, so you can still receive the services that you need and stay in the safety of your own home. And they do offer more than just those counseling services. So they have a plethora of resources on their website. So if you have access to those, please utilize those. That's what they're there for. And if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. I am one of those people that loves to interact with people. So the more opportunity that I have, the better. And that's just, again, it's hr@linkidaho.org. If you have any questions about, well-being and self-care, I'm happy to answer those for you.
Awesome. Yeah. And Tanya in our Twin Falls area, she commented, says she likes to go on bike rides with her kids to get out and get some fresh air. And that's a fantastic way, Tanya, to do some well-being and to also separate, because it's really hard too for those of you who may be working from home and also living at home. Where do you divide that line? Sometimes our kitchen tables have become our offices. So I know a lot of people are trying to navigate that. So that's great, Tanya. And it's a fun family activity, and kids are kind of going a little stir crazy too, I bet, in the houses these days. They don't have their social outlets. So Haley, I'm really glad you joined us. We're at about 12 minutes. We try to keep these at 10 to 15. So of course we are consistent, which is one of your favorite things. Haley's going to join us again in a couple of sessions later. We're going to talk a little bit about, she's a plethora of knowledge. So we can talk about reasonable accommodations, how you can ask for a reasonable accommodation at work, or maybe you're a manager of someone who may need a reasonable accommodation. What are some of the tips and tricks there? Really, we don't want to answer all the questions in these lunches with LeAnn. We just want you to know that we're here as resources for you. Every person is unique. Every situation isn't unique. And we want to make sure that we're here to support solutions to find the best for folks' independence. So Haley will be back. If there's something you want us to visit about, or someone you'd like to have, again, they can be from anywhere. They don't have to be a LINC staff, and they can just be someone in the community that's doing really cool stuff, or someone that wants to share some information. Send them our way. You can email us at info@linkidaho.org. You can also message us on Facebook. We monitor that pretty closely, or comment below. So if you have a request for a guest, or you have a request for a topic, we will take them all. And if you would like to be a guest, let us know. We would love to have you. So Haley, do you have any parting words for everybody?
I don't think so. Just thank you so much for watching, and make sure you're taking that time for yourself. I know it's easy to push that by the wayside, especially now, but sometimes 5 minutes can be a make or break thing. So make sure you take that time. And thanks for tuning in today.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo all those things. So thank you all. Be well. And we're going to chow down on some lunch. So we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for joining us.